Welcome back to Jules Sports Cards. It's been a minute, and therefore I have a giveaway to say thank you for sticking around for the channel. All of these cards that fit into this box right here, it is a 400 count, will be given away to one of the public subscribers who hits the like button and comments on the topic of the day, how to avoid hobby burnout. So in the comments, if you want to be entered into this giveaway of basketball, there will be some baseball, and at the very end, there's some wrestling as well. Say how you have avoided burnout in the hobby before, and know that at the very end, I'll also be rerunning the randomizer for this one. It's actually the giveaway that was, let's see if I can sneak it in there, for how to get your channel to 3,000 watch hours. It never was claimed, unfortunately, and so I will be rerunning those randomizer results as well. So, without further ado, make sure you do all the things, the hitting of the buttons and the commenting, so that we can keep this channel gaining momentum and I can keep avoiding burnout myself. So, I'll show you the cards that you can win. There are no repeat athletes, and I really try to switch up the cards so that it's visually appealing. It's not just like Bowman Chrome and then like 3 NBA hoops in a row. So, let's get after it with the topic of the day, hobby burnout. This is the time that I think the most amount of burnout could happen. A, because the hobby is so focused on the National, which just happened in Cleveland. Super fun, but the month before is just a lot of times a pause in, my eBay account was not selling nearly as many cards there. We also have most of the products that we're looking for in terms of basketball and football slowing down. The Wembanyama hunt and the CJ Stroud hunt, we've gotten to have that for so long that even if something comes like Optic Hobby, which is 8 years after retail, that's a topic for another way. Maybe the burnout's coming because we're getting a little bit burned by the companies and how they're handling things. I would say more on Panini's side, less on Topps with that comment. And so we have this big pause leading up to the National. That happens. I unfortunately was not able to go this year or ever. It's a bucket list idea, dream for sure on my hobby checklist, but it was not to be this year. So that being said, we now are entering a spot where football hasn't officially started, though we had the Hall of Fame preseason game between the Texans and the Bears. Obviously no Stroud, no Caleb Williams, and it was also a rainout. It literally didn't even finish. So first auto right there of Diabate from the Michigan Wolverines. There are hits that you can get in this as well. A little sprinkling, a lot of parallels, rookies, inserts, those things that I'm hoping to bless y'all with. In that, you have football not fully ramped up. Baseball is, if you live in Minnesota, number one, the team's in first place, but they aren't on like major cable. So like I have watched like 3 innings of actual Twins baseball in the summer. Listen to some on the radio, but baseball has, for so many people, hit a spot where it is not as prominent. All of that is a challenge. The WNBA is something that I'm getting into more. I'm actually in a fantasy league, but that hasn't really peaked fully. / they take a month off for the Olympics, and obviously you can try to get into Olympic basketball, but the schedule is just so different that, for work it's a lot harder. When the rhythms that you're used to being able to watch a game, you have to be like, is it 2 p.m.? And 2 p.m. is actually like one of the more ideal times. There's basketball starting at like 5:30 in the morning here, Central Time. So all of that is a challenge, right? Where there's the sports of it all is not at its peak. Baseball, when there's the postseason, there is some hype and some focus that happens there. Old school Drew right there. But we're kind of hitting the sports of it all are slow. The actual chasing of the players is a lot. That's Bones, by the way. It's really hard to see on the purple right there. Bones Highland rookie. Parallel from Hoops. The cards. We've had as many Victor Wembanyama products as most people can tolerate. CJ Stroud as well, although obviously Optic Football just came out with 8 billion downtowns already on eBay. So a little bit of a concern there for if Downtowns are getting watered down. Why did the hobby come out so much later than retail? Again, Panini, where you is, what's happening there. All of it to be said, there's not new product for a long time that's been captivating to the market in a sustainable way. Little bumps, of course, for sure, but something that has kind of slowed down there. So you got kind of this whirlwind of the hobby itself is kind of takes a deep breath right before football. Products of 2023 are slowed down. And 2024, obviously, when you start to get some of the NFL quarterbacks, I mean, there were 6 taken in the first round, so a lot of people are going to be excited chasing that. I'm happy that the Vikings, my PC team, have a quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, to be able to chase. But then you look at basketball, and a weak draft class in terms of hobby hype is not going to help. Rob Dillingham on my Minnesota Timberwolves might be one of the bigger names to chase in that, which is not ideal because he's definitely going to have a big learning curve. He's got a ton of potential. His playmaking is really actually higher than I think was advertised as shown in Summer League. But basketball's going to struggle. We still have the divide of autos, which really is hurting the hobby more than I feel like it's talked about. I know everybody talks about it, but like it's significant for you to have Victor and CJ and so many of those big names in a certain product that's not as hobby relevant top side, right? Until they get maybe top scrum going. Composite's a good start for football to come, but it's going to be that unlicensed. And even if they do it well, it still divides. And then you got, obviously, baseball the other way, right? Panini's baseball. They got Paul Skeens out there before a lot of what Topps did in terms of Donruss, but Donruss baseball this year really took a step back. You know, I can get behind Donruss baseball, and I don't know if I will this year because the base card design is just brutal, and you need to not have so many dud prospects in it. You know, you got to figure out a way to tighten up that checklist, have some of the vets be even bigger. Like, you got to have most of the cards coming out of that feel significant so that whenever you open a box, whether it's a blaster or a hobby, you feel like you got some value, and a lot of times that's not happening based on the names that you're pulling in Donruss baseball. So baseball's divided, basketball, football's divided. If you're trying to, you know, search for Victor, do you want the auto? Do you want the prism of it all with not an auto, but you can get the low numbering? There's just, we're in a little bit of a puberty phase within the hobby of what is it going to look like going forward with Fanatics kind of taking over. I didn't say monopoly, but takeover is very similar to that word. And so what I've been reflecting on is how do I navigate a world where it's oh, there is football in here. That's my bad. That's my bad. It's been a minute. I actually created this before I kind of took a hiatus. And I took a hiatus because I was kind of feeling a little bit of trying to avoid the burnout. My big point is actually going to be based off of one word in this video. And that word is should. I wish right now, like, we had the, like Sesame Street. The word of the day. Reading Rainbow. Knowledge is power. There's not a ton of football in here, but there's some football, actually. So, sorry for not saying that up at the front. Yeah, you can see I'm holding it all right there. So, should is the word that I'm going to be focusing on in this video because should is how burnout happens. It's the wood, it's the gasoline, it's the fire for burnout, Cam Akers. And Rashad Bateman, my dude, in the Gopher uniform. In this hobby, there are some folks that literally have no shoulds in their mind. They probably have a lot of money. They probably have a lot of time and extra resources all around. And so I'm not actually really talking to those folks because I have a feeling they experience a little less burnout than the average person. Most of us have some element of responsibility even in this hobby. And so what I mean by that is obviously there's content creation. Jake from State Farm. In content, you're like, okay, I want to keep making videos. I want to have the algorithm respect me. All of those things very easily can kind of come into your mind. Another Golden Gopher right there, rookie, Tyler Johnson. Mac. And a Trey patch. If you still believe in Trey, he's right here. And you got the absolute, not memorializing anything because it's Panini. Hashtag drive-by. But there's this idea of like, okay, I really want to be making content, keeping it going, and I should do that. For myself and for so many other people, this is either a break-even hobby or you're trying to make a profit off of it. And so with that, you are kind of up against this idea that you need to be selling stuff. So when eBay is slow and maybe your bank account has a little bit less in reserve, you're like, all right, well, I don't even have an easy move to be interacting with this hobby. That's divided, that's slow, and it's just so easy to just kind of get in a place where you're like, meh, meh. And then life happens, right? Summer's such a busy time. That is a rookie for Malik Willis, just not got the RC logo on it, but rookie year. Summer's busy. People are going on trips. There's weddings. There's just enjoying outside. You know, in Minnesota, this weather's just so nice, and we had a beautiful, mild winter this year, but most folks are aware it's not going to happen again in the same way, so you kind of got to enjoy that as much as you can. So yeah, life's been full for me too, just outside of it, and so it's very easy to get into this place of like overwhelm, and we as humans just so often go to this big picture like, all right, then I got to just, you know, sell all my cards and just move on or whatever. And luckily, I've been able to avoid that because I've not tried to put the word should in my mind. Should is the wood that allows the burnout to happen. Man, bumper sticker that right there. Miguel Cabrera insert right there. Die cut to the moon. I understand that you need to have goals, right? And kind of push yourself. This one's the candy cane out of 2021 right there. But that can serve you or it could serve against you. And I think we all kind of know when it's serving against us, right? There's the should that leads to a motivated response, and there's a should that leads to freezing up. And so when I experience in life, in the hobby, a should that is kind of creating a freeze up moment for me, I really try to step away. You know, I'm lucky that this isn't a financial component of my life in terms of revenue. I'm not living off of this. You know, I got a W-2 job that allows for me to have that. So, of course, I want this channel to grow. I want to keep the momentum. Like, it's crazy to me that it's been created and even sustained this level, like, of success. I just was trying to have fun, and I enjoy being able to make content. So the ability to kind of do anything with this is just a huge win for me. And I want to keep seeing it growing because that's so much of the fun of it. But ultimately, like, if it were to end with this video and no more, a lot of what I've enjoyed is almost the collection of these videos. You know, like, certainly these cards are meaningful. That's why I got into this. But I also now have a collection of videos. I have interviews with people that I look back on, and I think it's so cool that I was able to interview, you know, like somebody like Acme Pax, who is just an incredibly successful full-time breaker now. You know, we kind of were at the same point in the hobby starting off. Now, he hit a Genesis Tyrese Halliburton very early, and your boys never hit a Genesis. And so he had these moments where he invested more time and worked so hard at it and has received so much more success than I have. And in that, it's really cool to now see where he's at, you know, and to be able to do the same in the terms of D-Gen rips, you know, like D-Gen and I got to have a conversation. Like, how cool is that? He's so out of my league at this point to be talking to in any way, shape, or form. But I have those moments. I have cards that I pulled and like each year I kind of make a top 10 highlight video to be able to look back, and it's like the excitement that I had in each of those moments when I pulled the card and the random things I yell, like bada bing, bada boom, you know, realest card in the room or whatever, like that brings me joy to look back at. And as you are listening to me talk, I kind of have a feeling you're almost understanding the point of this video, right? Like, I was in a should mode for multiple weeks. Verlander die cut right there. And I'm now entering oh my gosh, this is exciting, because it is an exciting thing that I enjoy, that you enjoy. If you are watching this video, you have had excitement in this hobby, no doubt. And so with that, sometimes it's just not there. And one of the hard things is just perspective in terms of long term, right? We get so in the moment of, you know, a couple of weeks before the national not being able to sell as many cards, and you feel some type of way. It's like, yeah, but when I'm selling a lot of cards, it feels so fun, and like it's an enjoyable process. And so trying to not put the should, to just give yourself a little bit of a rest, what you need, and then come back at it when you can. Like, I hope you can try to achieve that, not just in the hobby, but in places of your work and different relationships and friendships. You know, like, forcing things so rarely has success. And what I have found is that there is a joy that I have, and each one of us has, for this hobby. And sometimes it's just not as accessible, and that's okay. And, you know, I think there's a bright future of where Fanatics is taking this. It's not necessarily there at this exact moment, but I can still enjoy, you know, sorting these cards to create giveaways for you all. I can still enjoy the couple sales that come through the account on eBay. Eventually a product will come that I will be excited to open. There'll be funds to be able to have that. Like, it all is okay, you know, like, don't sound the alarm. We're gonna be all right. And so with that being said, I just want to take a moment to say thank you for watching, and I'd love to hear some of your thoughts about how to avoid burnout. I'm trying to say, when you hit the should of no motivation, don't do it. You know, just walk away, and it will come back. There'll be a time you'll have the space to make a video, to sell a card, to go to a card show, and it'll be so exciting. So I have a randomizer result to give you next, and so stay tuned, especially if you were one of the people that commented on the how to get your channel to 3,000 watch hours. All right, until next time, y'all, keep staying in the hobby and keep ripping. Peace. All right, and now we are going to run the randomizer machine again for this video for an unclaimed giveaway. I showed the box earlier in the video here, and so we're going to copy and paste. How far do I got to go down? Not that much. Right there. Filter out duplicate users. We're good. Let's do the math. That one's a nice, easy one. We have 10 unique comments. Thank you for each person who entered. Good luck to all the names that are running around there. Lions Luck Sports Cards 9835. Interesting points for sure. I'm sitting right around 3,700 view hours this year. Just need a few more for ad sharing. I think shorts really help too. Lions Luck is another one of those videos that I was talking about earlier. I got to interview him. What an incredible guy who's grinding and working so hard for his channel. Right now, if you haven't, go subscribe to him, help him reach the goal that he has to be able to continue in this hobby just like me. So we appreciate your support as YouTube channels. Lions of Luck, you're the man. Can't wait to send you these cards. Until next time, y'all, keep ripping and keep entering giveaways. Peace.